The Asian Games 2022 in Hangzhou is officially now open. The grand opening ceremony that we had seen today in Hangzhou saw this particular moment fill our hearts with pride. When the Indian contingent came with Harmanpreet Singh and Lovlina Borgohain being the flag bearers, it gave us immense pride. Because remember, in the last couple of major world sporting events, right from the Olympics of 2021, the Commonwealth Games and even the Asian Games now, there is an air of optimism that perhaps India can really achieve a glorious benchmark. Because remember, we have been one of the few nations who's participated in all the Asian Games ever since its inception in 1951. This time, with the largest ever contingent ever assembled, we are gunning for something spectacular. The Indian contingent is gunning for 100 medals. Now, how significant is 100 medal mark in the Asian Games? Because remember, the traditional heavyweights have always been Japan, South Korea, China, and India has lagged behind in the curve. But ever since Jakarta Palembang, there is an air of optimism that perhaps we can increase the tally. Remember, we had a small blip in 2014 in Incheon, but in Jakarta Palembang, we had scaled a never before heard mark of 70. Now, can we go one better? More athletes, more disciplines, more medal chances. Can it truly happen? Because Asian Games opening ceremony ended just about a couple of minutes back, and Hangzhou 2022 is now officially open. Yes, it's still Hangzhou 2022 because remember, the Asiad that was scheduled to be held at this time in 2022 was postponed due to COVID. Now everything is back to normal, and that is why it's been held now. Harmanpreet Singh and Lovlina Borgohain were the flag bearers, and it was truly a magnificent sight. Lovlina Borgohain has done India great in boxing. Harmanpreet Singh is India's excellent captain, greatest drag flicker that we have seen in hockey. So it is fitting that these two would lead this Indian contingent. And how big an Indian contingent it was? 655, which is the largest ever contingent ever. And consider that in Jakarta Palembang 2018, they had 572 athletes. Then 572 to 655, and 572 athletes went, 70 medals came. Now with 655, can they get to 100? Because 100 plus medals is something that if India can achieve, it will truly indicate that they are making some progress when it is sports. India have always lagged behind the curve in Olympics ever since the 80s. Now they are trying to come up again in the Asiad. That will be an indication of where Indian sports will stand come Paris Olympics 2024. If you want to look at the overall history of the Asiad, yes, 100 plus seems to be a very improbable task in more ways. Because look, 155 gold, 201 silver, 316 bronze. 672 medals in total ever since 1951. So, 1951 onwards, in 72 years, you have won a total of 672. Meaning, on an average, every edition you have just managed to win about 15 to 20 medals. Average. But, which are the disciplines that have given India the maximum gain when it comes to the Asiad? Athletics. Athletics with 254, 79 gold, 88 silver, 87 bronze. This is an indication that athletics has always been one of India's strongest suits when it comes to the Asiad. Think about PT Usha, think about Neeraj Chopra, think about Hima Das, who achieved a spectacular success in heptathlon during the 2018 Jakarta Palembang Games. At that time, you have to consider that athletics with its broader field this time around, the likes of Avinash Sable, the likes of Jasmine Aldrin, Tejaswin Shankar, Murli Sri Shankar, Neeraj Chopra, Jyoti Yaraji, everybody who did well in the Asian Championships can probably repeat the feat even in athletics this time around. There is a little less hope when it comes to wrestling, unlike the previous editions. Remember, you had established names at that time, but here this time, the chances of wrestling giving you medals is a little low. Consider the recent performances that happened in the World Wrestling Championships in Serbia. India managed to get only one Olympic quota. That was Antim Pangal. Antim Pangal managed to do well in the bronze medal repechage, and that is why she managed to make it to Paris and get the quota. But remember, she could not get to the top level. And remember, there are a lot of Kazakh, Uzbek, Tajik athletes here who are much stronger than the Indian athletes at this point. So, getting a wrestling medal this time around, if it's gold in particular, seems a high task in Hangzhou. Shooting. Now remember, even tomorrow onwards, shooting is going to be one of the prime disciplines where India can get more medals. Remember, shooting was not there in the 2022 Commonwealth Games. That's why at least 15 to 20 medals we could not get because shooting was not part of the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. Boxing. Now this is one discipline where India have done really well, and in the Commonwealth Games also, lot of athletes did well in boxing, and even here you could see some of the athletes do well. Now, if you look at the last 5 Asiad performances for India, right from 2002 in Busan, 36 medals India had managed to win at that time. Remember, from the despair of the 80s till the 90s, where India was struggling in all sporting aspects, be it Asiad, be it Commonwealth, be it Olympics, you had to understand that 2002 Busan, 36 medals represented a big jump. Then 53 in Doha, that was a big achievement. 65 in 2010 in Guangzhou, that was yet another big achievement. Then you had a one small blip in 2014 Incheon, but then came the massive spike in Jakarta Palembang with 70. So, Indian sport, if you have to look at it right in the 21st century, there has been an upward curve, then there was a slight dip, but it has shot up right again. And that too with the highest medal tally we have ever had of 70 at Jakarta Palembang. That gives us confidence that we can at least increase that tally even in 2022 Hangzhou. So, what are the disciplines that can give India the maximum leverage? Remember, there is high hopes from shooting. Maybe on the 24th and the 25th, you will see sculling and rowing give you a lot of medals on day one itself. Cricket might give you both the medals, gold in the men's and the women's. Chess is making a comeback after 2006, to 2010 rather. Athletics will always be there. Hockey. This time Indian hockey has got a great chance to overturn what was the disaster of 2018 Jakarta Palembang. Because remember, there we lost the chance of gold by losing 6-7 to Malaysia in the sudden death tiebreakers. Now, the passage is simple. If India win the Asiad of Hangzhou 2022, they will then secure the direct ticket to Paris 2024. So, hockey, there is a lot of hopes, and even kabaddi. Remember, Iran has tried to breach India's fortress when it comes to kabaddi, and they have achieved it successfully. They kind of did it in 2018 Jakarta Palembang. Now, they will be wanting to do it yet again. Volleyball. Now, volleyball is one sport where India are already making gigantic strides. Imagine beating 27th ranked Korea and 43rd ranked Chinese Taipei. But now their ultimate test comes against world number 5 Japan. Japan are the world number 5 in the world volleyball rankings, and they are the best ever team in Asia. And in 1962, you saw that Japan denied India the chance to win the gold medal in volleyball in Jakarta, 1962. Less hopes from table tennis, badminton and wrestling. Badminton, unfortunately, this time you're seeing maybe at max about 1-2 medals because PV Sindhu is not in form. One medal constant throughout this entire period from the 2018 till now was PV Sindhu. But Sindhu has not been in good form. And remember, Asiad is the most toughest event after the Olympics that every Indian shuttler admits, because Asia is the powerhouse when it comes to badminton. The likes of Tai Tzu Ying, He Bingzhou, then you've got all the other players like Kunlavat Viditsan, Jonathan Christie. All of them, they are one of the best in the business at this point. Satvik Sairaj, Rankireddy, Chirag Shetty, that duo hold the key when it comes to a medal. Along with the likes of maybe a Lakshya Sen or a Kidambi Srikanth or an HS Pranoy. But remember, Pranoy has often struggled against Kumlavat Viditsaran. And that is why that will be a slight bit of a problem if that happens. But remember, badminton, there are hopes, but it is less this time around. Table tennis. Agreed. The likes of Sharat Kamal, Gyanasekaran, Harmeet Desai, Manav Shah and Manav Thakkar, they are all doing great. So are the likes of Manika Batra, Shrija Akula and everybody else. But there are two nations that have always dominated table tennis. One is China. If any nation can beat China this time around in Guangzhou, then it will alter the table tennis world order unlike anything else. It will be an earthquake that is way off the Richter scale, because China for the past 40 years, and especially when you look at table tennis worldwide, there is no greater opponent than China. South Korea is a very distant second. So there's China, and truly there's the rest in this. But remember, table tennis did win new medals in Jakarta Palembang. So there is a hope that perhaps table tennis can repeat what they did in Jakarta Palembang. So with all this hope, with all the anticipation, we wish our Indian athletes all the very best. Because if they get to 100 plus medals, then it will be a watershed moment in Indian sports. Because rarely have we crossed the 100 mark, except 2010, the Commonwealth Games, when it was held in Delhi and we finished second in the entire medals tally at that point. So if we do that in the Asiad, which is of tougher proportions, then Indian sport will have truly matured. Athletics, hockey, all the other sports, even esports for that matter. Remember, in 2018 Jakarta Palembang, bridge won us one medal. It was gold medal, that too. Maybe in esports, which is making a debut at this time, you could see India do well. India could even do well in wushu, for that matter, for all the off-field controversies that's been there. So we wish the Indian contingent all the best. Go for 100 plus. Even if you can better Jakarta Palembang, it will still be a great achievement. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.